Did a single newspaper article inspire two of Elvis Presley's most famous songs recorded decades apart? How does a rockabilly tune about a train connect to a 70s anthem about the American dream? What if the man begging his lover not to be cruel is the same one who later finds himself trapped by suspicious minds? Elvis recorded over 700 songs. We know the big ones, we know the hits, but we listen to them in isolation. We hear them on the radio, one at a time. We put them on playlists, separated by other artists. We think of them as individual moments. But what if they aren't? What if they are pieces of a larger story? A story about a character who grows and changes. A story about ideas that echo through a lifetime. A story told in fragments across years and genres. These aren't just songs, they're threads. And when you start to pull on them, you find they are connected in ways you never expected. Number 18, Our Heartbreak Hotel and In the Ghetto, two views of the same tragedy. A man named Alvin Krullick took his own life in a hotel room in 1955, leaving behind a note that simply said, "I walk a lonely street." That line appeared in a Miami Herald newspaper article about the incident. Songwriter Mae Bourne Axton saw it and was inspired to write Heartbreak Hotel. The song was Elvis's first million-selling single for RCA. On the original demo, the hotel's bellboy, desk clerk, and groom were all expected to die from sadness. The song that became In the Ghetto was originally titled The Vicious Circle. Its writer, Mac Davis, grew up with a childhood friend whose father was black. He witnessed the poverty and lack of opportunity his friend faced. Elvis was initially hesitant to record the song, fearing it was too political and would alienate his conservative fan base. Colonel Tom Parker was strongly against it. At first glance, these two songs could not be more different. Heartbreak Hotel is a stark, minimalist piece of early rock and roll. It's spooky. It's full of echo and dread. Recorded in January 1956, it introduced the world to a darker, more brooding Elvis. The sound is sparse. You have Scotty Moore's biting guitar, Bill Black's slapping bass, DJ Fontana's simple, heavy drum beat, and Floyd Kramer's bluesy piano. But the main instrument is the space between the notes. The reverb on Elvis's voice makes him sound like he's singing from the bottom of a well. The song describes a place at the end of a lonely street where broken-hearted lovers go. It's a fictional place, but it feels real. It's a final destination. The lyric paints a picture of gloom. The desk clerk is dressed in black. The bellhop's tears flow. It's a hotel full of people, so lost in their own sorrow, they can't see anyone else. They are trapped. As Elvis sings it with a kind of desperate resignation, he's not just reporting on the hotel, he's a resident there. 13 years later, in January 1969, Elvis walked into American Sound Studio in Memphis. He was a different man. The raw energy of the 50s had been replaced by the polish of Hollywood. He needed a comeback. He needed to be relevant again. One of the songs he chose was In the Ghetto. This was not a song about personal romantic heartbreak. It was a song about societal failure. It tells a story, a narrative that repeats itself. A boy is born to a mother who can't provide for him in the ghetto of Chicago. He grows up hungry. He learns to steal and fight. He buys a gun. He tries to run, but he's shot and killed. And as he dies, another child is born in the ghetto, starting the cycle all over again. The production is the opposite of Heartbreak Hotel. It's lush. It has strings, a backing chorus, and a polished, cinematic feel. It's a message song delivered with sincerity and empathy. Elvis's voice is richer, more controlled. He's a narrator now, not a participant. He's telling us a story about someone else. So where is the connection? It's in the hopelessness. The two songs are about inescapable traps built from different materials. Heartbreak Hotel is a trap of the soul. It's a psychological prison built from personal despair and loneliness. Once you check in, you never leave. The final line is chilling. They'll be so lonely they could die. And it's an emotional death sentence. The loneliness is the entire world. In the Ghetto describes a physical and economic prison. The young man is trapped by his circumstances. He is born into poverty, and that poverty dictates his entire life. The system is rigged against him. His mother cries because she knows he's doomed from the start. The vicious circle is the ghetto itself. It's a place designed to keep people in. He tries to run, but there is no escape. The result is the same as in Heartbreak Hotel, a premature death. One is a death of the spirit, the other a death of the body. Both songs are about environments that suffocate life. Heartbreak Hotel is at the end of a symbolic lonely street. In the ghetto is a real place, a grid of streets that offers no exit. The people in the hotel are isolated by their own sadness. The people in the ghetto are isolated by societal neglect. Both songs, recorded more than a decade apart, show Elvis exploring the same fundamental idea, the tragedy of a life without hope, a world without an exit door. One is a personal blues, the other a social one. Together they paint a bleak but compassionate picture of human suffering. Number 17. Does Blue Suede Shoes and G.I. Blues tell a story of lost identity? Carl Perkins wrote blue suede shoes on a brown paper potato sack in the middle of the night. He was inspired by a dancer he saw at a show who was fiercely protective of his new shoes. Elvis recorded his version while Perkins was still recovering from a near-fatal car accident, a move that some felt was opportunistic, though Presley had always intended to record it. Elvis's version sold over 1 million copies, but he reportedly felt bad that his success overshadowed Perkins' original. The film E.J. Blues was Elvis's first movie after his 2-year stint in the Army. It was a massive commercial success, and its soundtrack album was #1 on the charts for 10 weeks. The U.S. Army provided full cooperation for the film's production, lending tanks, helicopters, and even thousands of soldiers as extras for certain scenes. The title song was written by Sid Tepper and Roy C. Bennett, who would go on to write over 40 songs for Elvis. Blue Suede Shoes is more than a song about footwear. It's a declaration of independence. It's a statement of personal pride from a young man who doesn't have much. The narrator lists all the things you can do to him. You can knock him down, step on his face, slander his name all over the place. You can burn his house, steal his car, drink his liquor from an old fruit jar. None of it matters. There's only one rule. Don't step on his shoes. The shoes are a symbol. They represent his identity, his individuality, his cool. In a world where he has little control, the shoes are his line in the sand. They are the one thing that is purely his. The performance is raw, defiant, and full of youthful swagger. It's the anthem of the 1950s rebel defining himself against the world. Now, jump to 1960. Elvis is out of the Army. He records G.I. Blues. The tone is completely different. The swagger is gone, replaced by a weary resignation. The song is about the life of a soldier, and its central theme is the loss of that very individuality celebrated in Blue Suede Shoes. The lyrics list the changes. He used to be a treat to see, wearing a fancy shirt and pants. Now he's in uniform. He had a great big car. Now he has a Jeep. He had his own apartment. Now he has a bunk. Every verse is a comparison between his old life of freedom and his new life of conformity. The connection is the direct contrast in identity. Blue Suede Shoes is about protecting the one thing that makes you unique. G.I. Blues is about having everything that makes you unique stripped away. The soldier in E.J. Blues is the ghost of the kid from Blue Suede Shoes. The uniform has replaced the fancy clothes. The government-issued Jeep has replaced the great big car. The rules of the Army have replaced his one personal rule. The very concept of personal property and style has been erased. He sings about the G.I. hair, the G.I. shoes, the G.I. ways. Everything is standardized. The blue suede shoes, a symbol of fierce personal choice, have been replaced by generic Army boots. He is no longer defined by his own style, but by the institution he serves. The song isn't angry, like the early rockabilly tunes. It's melancholic. It's the sound of a man accepting his new reality. He's got the G.I. Blues. The blues aren't about a lost love or a lack of money. They are about the loss of self. Listening to these two songs back to back creates a powerful narrative arc. It's the story of a young rebel who draws a line in the sand, and the story of the man he becomes after an institution forces him to erase that line. Blue Suede Shoes is the thesis. G.I. Blues is the antithesis. One is a song about what you won't give up. The other is a song about what you've been forced to surrender. It's the journey from me to wuss, from individual to unit, and the sadness that comes with that transformation. Number 16 is Jailhouse Rock, the prequel to If I Can Dream. The dance sequence for Jailhouse Rock was choreographed by Elvis himself. He refused to let the studio bring in a professional choreographer. The scene depicting convicts dancing in a stylized cell block is considered one of the first true music videos. During the filming of the famous Slide Down the Pole, Elvis swallowed a porcelain cap from one of his teeth and had to have it retrieved. If I Can Dream was written by Walter Earl Brown in a matter of hours as a last-minute replacement for the planned Christmas finale of the '68 comeback special. It was directly inspired by the recent assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert F. Kennedy. Elvis was deeply moved by the lyrics and reportedly said, "I'm never going to sing another song I don't believe in." His performance in a white suit was so raw and emotional that members of the production crew were in tears. Jailhouse Rock from 1957 is the sound of pure chaotic rebellion. It's a fantasy of anarchy. The warden throws a party, and the whole cell block is dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. The song is a list of characters, inmates with names like Shifty Henry and Sad Sack, all breaking the rules. It's rebellion for its own sake. There's no cause, no message. The goal is simply to have a good time, to break free from the monotony and oppression of prison life. The energy is explosive, it's frantic, joyful, and a little dangerous. It's about channeling frustration into a physical, cathartic release. The jail is a metaphor for the stifling conformity of the 1950s, and the rock and roll party is the escape. But it's a temporary escape. There's no plan, no higher purpose. It's just a riot. 11 years pass. It's 1968. The world is a different place. It's a year of turmoil, of war, of assassinations. Elvis, coming out of his Hollywood hibernation, is a different man. He closes his comeback special with If I Can Dream. This is also a song about breaking free, but the nature of the rebellion has completely changed. It's no longer about a chaotic party. It's a desperate, passionate plea for a better world. The lyrics talk about a world filled with darkness, where hearts are full of pain. He dreams of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand. This is rebellion with a cause. The prison is no longer a symbolic cell block, it's the state of the world itself. It's a world of hatred, division, and violence. The escape is not a dance party, it's a dream of peace, understanding, and redemption. The connection between the two songs is the evolution of the rebel. The narrator of Jailhouse Rock is a young man lashing out. His rebellion is personal and impulsive. He wants to break the rules. The narrator of If I Can Dream is a mature man looking at the world around him. His rebellion is social and purposeful. He wants to change the rules for everyone. The energy has been transformed. The frantic, physical energy of Jailhouse Rock has become the intense, emotional energy of If I Can Dream. In the first song, the problem is boredom and confinement, and the solution is rock and roll. In the second song, the problem is injustice and suffering, and the solution is a shared vision of a better future. Elvis's vocal performance reflects this. In Jailhouse Rock, he's a sneering, energetic punk. In If I Can Dream, his voice is filled with anguish and hope, building to a massive, gut-wrenching crescendo. Jailhouse Rock is the riot. If I Can Dream is the sermon that comes after, explaining why the riot happened and offering a path to something better. It's the journey from a rebellion of the body to a rebellion of the soul. One is a dream of a wild night, the other is a dream of a brighter morning. And number 15 does Love Me Tender become Are You Lonesome Tonight? The melody for Love Me Tender is adapted from the Civil War era ballad Ora Lee, which was written in 1861. Elvis's vocal coach Ken Darby wrote the new lyrics but credited them to his wife Vera Mattson and to Elvis Presley, likely to secure a share of the song's massive royalties for Elvis. The song was released before the movie of the same name and went to number 1, selling over 1 million copies in advance orders alone. Are You Lonesome Tonight was written in 1926 by Lou Handman and Roy Turk. It was a vaudeville standard for decades and had been recorded by numerous artists including Al Jolson and Blue Baron before Elvis. Colonel Parker's wife, Marie, was the one who suggested Elvis record the song. The famous spoken word bridge was not part of the original song. It was added in a 1940s version by Blue Barons Orchestra. The take that was released was the one where Elvis famously broke into laughter after flubbing a line. Here we have the life cycle of a romance told in two songs. Love Me Tender, recorded in 1956, is the beginning. It's a vow, a promise. The lyrics are simple, direct, and full of unguarded optimism. Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. It's the sound of pure devotion. The arrangement is gentle and acoustic, a stark contrast to the rock and roll hits surrounding it. It's a hymn to a new love. The singer is asking for his love to be reciprocated, but he sings it with the confidence of someone who knows it will be. It is the perfect idealized moment when two people decide to build a life together. Tell me you are mine, I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. It's a promise of forever. Now, fast forward to 1960. Are You Lonesome Tonight is the end. It's the lonely echo after the promise has been broken. The song is a series of questions addressed to an absent lover. Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we drifted apart? The confidence of Love Me Tender is gone, replaced by doubt and longing. The life that was once complete is now empty. The you in the song is the same person from Love Me Tender, but now she is gone. The famous spoken bridge is the key to the connection. It directly frames the entire relationship as a play. The stage is bare, and I'm standing there with emptiness all around. He compares their life together to a performance. He played a lover, she played his sweetheart. He remembers her line, "Darling, I love you." It's the same sentiment as "Love me tender, love me true," but now it's remembered as just a line from a script. The sincerity has been hollowed out. The play had a second act where she changed and wouldn't speak her lines correctly. This led to the breakup. The promise of, through all the years, till the end of time from Love Me Tender has been broken. The play is over. The curtain is down. All that's left is the solitary actor on an empty stage asking questions to an empty house. Or he even offers her a new role. If you won't come back to me, then they can bring the curtain down. Love Me Tender is the opening scene. It's full of hope, sincerity, and the belief that the love is real and eternal. Are You Lonesome Tonight is the epilogue. It's a look back from a place of loneliness and regret, reevaluating that same love as a performance that simply ran its course. One is a promise made. The other is the sound of that promise echoing in an empty room. Number 14 is Suspicious Minds, the adult version of Hound Dog. Leiber and Stoller, the writers of Hound Dog, originally wrote it for blues singer Big Mama Thornton in 1952. Her version is slower, grittier, and more menacing. Elvis picked up the song after seeing Freddie Bell and the Bellboys perform a comedic, sped-up version in Las Vegas. Elvis's recording session for Hound Dog was notoriously difficult, requiring 31 takes. He insisted on getting it exactly right. Suspicious Minds was written by Mark James. He had a minor hit with it, but it failed to chart nationally. The song was brought to Elvis during the legendary 1969 American Sound Studio sessions by producer Chips Moman. Moman was the architect of Elvis's comeback sound. The song's distinctive fade-out and fade-in at the end was a creative choice by Moman and Elvis, meant to mimic the feeling of a live performance's energy dipping and then returning for an encore. RCA executives and Colonel Parker hated it and almost had it removed. Both songs are about a fundamental breakdown of trust in a relationship. They are both songs of accusation, but they represent two completely different stages of emotional maturity in dealing with that betrayal. Hound Dog, from 1956, is pure, unfiltered teenage rage. It's a simple, direct insult. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, crying all the time. You ain't never caught a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. The accusation is blunt. The partner is a fraud, a freeloader, a fake. The song is built on a primal, driving beat. It's a musical fistfight. The emotion is singular contempt. There's no room for nuance, no hint of sadness or a desire for reconciliation. It's an expulsion. Get out. You're no good. The relationship is over, and the singer is slamming the door. It's the clean break of youthful anger. The problem is simple, you lied to me. The solution is simple, you're gone. Now, consider Suspicious Minds, recorded 13 years later. This is not a song about a clean break. It's a song about being trapped in a state of perpetual doubt. The core problem is the same, a lack of trust, but the emotional landscape is infinitely more complex. The singer isn't throwing the partner out, he's begging for a way to fix things, but he doesn't know how. We can't go on together with suspicious minds, and we can't build our dreams on suspicious minds. The lyrics show a man caught in a painful loop. He knows the trust is gone, but he's still in love. Why can't you see what you're doing to me when you don't believe a word I say? Unlike the one-way accusation of hound dog, this is a dialogue of dysfunction. He feels her suspicion, and it's tearing him apart. The love is still there, but it's being poisoned. The music reflects this complexity. It's not a simple blues progression. It changes tempo, builds in intensity, and features a call and response with the background singers. It's the sound of an internal struggle. Hound Dog is about an event you betrayed me. Suspicious Minds is about a condition we are trapped by our inability to trust each other. The anger of the first song has curdled into the paranoia and desperation of the second. The kid who could just yell, "You ain't no friend of mine," has grown into a man who pleads, don't let a good thing die." He is no longer just angry, he's heartbroken, confused, and terrified of losing the relationship, even though it's causing him pain. It's the difference between a teenage breakup and a marriage on the brink of collapse. Hound Dog is the explosion. Suspicious Minds is the painful, lingering fallout. Number 13 are Mystery Train and Promised Land, two legs of the same journey. Mystery Train was originally written and recorded by Junior Parker at Sun Studio in 1953. Elvis's version, recorded in 1955, was his last single for Sun Records before moving to RCA. He and his band transformed the song, speeding it up and adding a driving, optimistic rhythm that contrasts with the original's more mournful tone. For many, it represents the pinnacle of the Sun rockabilly sound. Promised Land was written by Chuck Berry while he was in prison in the early 1960s. He wrote the lyrics as a travelogue, imagining a journey across the southern United States. Elvis recorded it in 1973 at Stax Studios in Memphis. The recording session was reportedly difficult as Elvis was struggling with health issues, but his performance on the track is powerful and energetic. It became one of his last major hits. The train is a powerful symbol in American music, representing escape, freedom, and destiny. These two songs use that symbol to chart a journey from powerlessness to power. Mystery Train, recorded when Elvis was just 20 years old, is a song about fate and loss. The train is an unstoppable, mysterious force. Train I ride, 16 coaches long. Well, that long black train got my baby and gone. The singer is passive. He is a victim of the train. It arrives, takes what is precious to him, and disappears into the darkness. He is left standing on the platform, helpless. The train's arrival is described as inevitable. Train, coming round the bend. He can hear it, he knows it's coming, but he can do nothing to stop it. The song has a hypnotic, relentless rhythm, like the clicking of wheels on a track. It's the sound of something you can't control. Even with the energetic rockabilly arrangement, the core theme is one of helplessness. The Mystery Train dictates his fate. Now, travel nearly 2 decades forward to 1973's Promised Land. The singer is no longer a passive victim of the train. He is now the protagonist of the journey. He is the one in motion. The song is a first-person narrative of a trip from Norfolk, Virginia to Los Angeles, California, the Promised Land. He starts on a Greyhound bus, moves to a train, and finally to an airplane. He is in control of his own movement. Unlike the boy watching the Mystery Train leave, this man is making things happen. He's calling information, trying to get a reservation. He is an active agent in his own story. The long black train of the first song was a force of nature that took things away. The big 16-wheeler and the train to New Orleans in the second song are tools he uses to get where he wants to go. The journey is no longer a mystery. It's a planned itinerary across a map of America. The destination isn't loss, it's opportunity and fulfillment. He ends the song by calling his loved one from a phone booth in LA, telling her he has arrived. He has completed the journey. The connection is the evolution of the narrator's relationship with motion and destiny. The young man in Mystery Train is a classic blues figure, watching his life be changed by forces beyond his command. The man in Promised Land is a modern American hero, using technology and willpower to forge his own path across the country. He is no longer at the mercy of the train, he is its passenger, and he's heading for a specific destination. The helplessness of the Sun single has been replaced by the triumphant self-determination of the Stax hit. It's the journey from being a bystander to a pioneer. Number 12 is Burning Love, the full-grown version of That's All Right. Arthur Big Boy Crudup wrote and recorded That's All Right in 1946. His original is a straight mid-tempo blues song. When Elvis, Scotty Moore, and Bill Black were taking a break during a frustrating recording session at Sun Studio on July 5th, 1954, Elvis started goofing around, singing an upbeat, fast version of the song. Producer Sam Phillips heard it from the control room, stuck his head out, and told them to start again so he could record it. That spontaneous moment is widely considered the birth of rock and roll. Burning Love was written by Dennis Lindy and first recorded by country soul artist Arthur Alexander. Elvis recorded his version in 1972. It would be his final top 10 hit in the United States during his lifetime. The powerful guitar riff was played by Dennis Linde himself, the songwriter, who was invited to the session. The song's driving energy made it a staple of Elvis's live shows in his final years. These two songs, recorded 18 years apart, are the bookends of Elvis's rock and roll fire. They are connected by the same raw, primal energy, but one is a spark and the other is an inferno. That's All Right is the sound of a discovery. It's spontaneous, light, and almost accidental. You can hear the excitement in Elvis's voice. He's taking a traditional blues lament and injecting it with a nervous, joyful energy. The instrumentation is minimal, just acoustic rhythm guitar, electric lead guitar, and upright bass. There are no drums. The sound is clean, crisp, and full of space. The song is about a breakup, but the lyrics, "That's all right, mama, that's all right," with me, are delivered with a shrug. The feeling isn't sadness, it's liberation. It's the feeling of something new being born. It's a small, controlled fire. A spark catching on dry kindling. It's pure foundational rockabilly. Now listen to Burning Love. This is what happens when that spark grows into a full-blown forest fire. The core feeling is the same state, an uncontrollable physical reaction to love and passion, but everything has been amplified to an epic scale. The simple three-piece band has been replaced by a massive studio ensemble. You have a thundering bass line, pounding drums from Ronnie Tutt, multiple guitars, a horn section, and a full gospel-style choir of backup singers. The lyrics are no longer a casual shrug. They are a declaration of a medical emergency. Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising. He's a hunk of burning love. The feeling is no longer just all right. It's an overwhelming physical sensation that is taking over his entire body. He needs a shot of love to cool his fever. The playful energy of the Sun record has been supercharged into an explosive, almost violent force. And Elvis's vocal is no longer the light, boyish tenor of 1954. It's a powerful, full-throated roar. He attacks the song with the power and confidence of a man who has commanded stages for 2 decades. The connection is the evolution of the same musical idea. That's All Right is the blueprint. It's the DNA of Elvis's rock and roll. Burning Love is the final, most spectacular expression of that DNA. It takes the same basic elements, the driving rhythm, the theme of physical passion, the vocal exuberance, and magnifies them 100 times. If That's All Right is the sound of a star being born, Burning Love is the sound of that star going supernova. It's the journey from a lightning strike in a small Memphis studio to a global pyrotechnic event. Number 11. Do My Way and Unchained Melody represent the same defiance. Paul Anka wrote the English lyrics for My Way specifically for Frank Sinatra, adapting it from a French song called Comme d'habitude. Sinatra's 1969 version became his signature song, Elvis began performing My Way in concert in the 1970s. His powerful operatic live versions became a centerpiece of his shows, often used as a climactic closing number. The version on the Aloha from Hawaii special is one of his most famous performances. Unchained Melody was written in 1955 for the prison film Unchained. It has been recorded by hundreds of artists. Elvis performed the song live during his final tours in 1976 and 1977. The most famous version is from his last television special, Elvis in Concert, recorded in June 1977, just 2 months before his death. In the video, he is visibly unwell, but he sits at the piano and delivers a stunningly powerful and emotional performance. These two songs, both covers, became deeply personal statements for Elvis in his final years. They are connected by a theme of fierce, last-ditch defiance, but they defy two different things. My Way is a defiance of critics and convention. It's a conscious statement about his own career and legacy. When Elvis sings, "And now, the end is near, and so I face the final curtain," he is not just singing a song, he is delivering his own eulogy. He is summing up his life's work. The lyrics are a proud, almost arrogant declaration of autonomy. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. It's a defense of his choices. From the rebellious rock and roll of the 50s to the formulaic movies of the 60s and the grand spectacle of the 70s. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. The song is a performance of strength. It's Elvis, the icon, the legend, telling the world that he stands by every decision. It is a defiance of external judgment. Unchained Melody, specifically the 1977 performance, is something else entirely. It is a defiance of his own physical limitations. It's a battle against his failing body. In the footage, he is overweight, sweating, and struggling to catch his breath. But he sits at the piano, a position of vulnerability, and summons a performance of breathtaking power. The song is a plea for a lover's touch, a classic ballad of longing. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch. But in this context, it becomes a primal scream. He is fighting his own physical decay to create a moment of pure, transcendent beauty. The high notes, which seem to come from a place of impossible effort, are not just notes in a song. They are acts of will. He is pushing his body to its absolute limit. The defiance here is not against critics or a disapproving public. It's against mortality itself. He knows he is unwell, and he is using every last ounce of his remaining strength to do the one thing he was born to do, sing. The bead of sweat that drips from his hair, the strain on his face, the sheer force of his voice. It's a man refusing to be silenced by his own physical decline. The connection is profound. My Way is the defiant mind, crafting its own legend and defending its past. Unchained Melody is the defiant body, raging against its own imminent end. One is a statement of control over his life's narrative. The other is a desperate, beautiful act of control over his art in the face of losing control over everything else. Both are the sound of a man refusing to go quietly. One is a king on his throne. The other is a warrior on his last battlefield. Number 10 is Blue Moon of Kentucky and Kentucky Rain, A Tale of Two Kentuckys. Blue Moon of Kentucky was written by Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass, in 1946. It was a slow, mournful waltz in 3/4 time. During the same 1954 Sun session that produced That's All Right, Bill Black started slapping his bass and singing Blue Moon of Kentucky in a high-pitched, comical voice to break the tension. Elvis and Scotty Moore joined in, transforming the song into an up-tempo rockabilly rave-up in 4/4 time. It became the B-side to That's All Right. Kentucky Rain was written by Eddie Rabbitt and Dick Hurd. Rabbitt, who would become a country star himself, recorded the demo. Elvis recorded the song in 1969 during the American Sound Studio sessions. It features a powerful piano performance by Ronnie Millsap, who was then a session musician. The song's dramatic, rain-swept narrative and big production made it a significant post-comeback hit for Elvis. Both songs are set in Kentucky, but they present two completely different versions of the state and two completely different kinds of heartache. Blue Moon of Kentucky is a song of the old world. It's rooted in the pastoral, romanticized landscape of bluegrass music. The heartbreak is traditional, almost formal. Blue Moon of Kentucky, keep on shining, shine on the one that's gone and left me blue. The singer is talking to the moon, a classic trope of country and folk music. The pain is real, but it's presented in a familiar, almost comfortable way. Elvis's version turns this sadness on its head. He speeds it up and sings the lyrics with a kind of frantic joy. He's taking the old-timey sadness of Kentucky and transforming it into the new, defiant energy of rock and roll. But the setting is still the same, a rural, moonlit, almost mythical Kentucky. It's a place of tradition, even if he's breaking that tradition with his sound. It is a Kentucky of the mind, a symbolic landscape. Kentucky Rain, recorded 15 years later, presents a modern, gritty, and desperate Kentucky. This is not a mythical landscape. It's a real place with roads, phone booths, and people walking with their heads bowed low. The singer isn't talking to the moon. He's on a desperate physical search for a woman who has left him. He's walking with the rain in my shoes, searching for you. The song is a mini-movie. It's a noir scene set against the backdrop of a cold, unforgiving Kentucky storm. The heartbreak is not a gentle lament. It's an urgent, physical quest. He needs to find her and bring her back. The 7 lonely days and 100 miles give the song a sense of scale and exhaustion. The connection is the contrast between a nostalgic, symbolic Kentucky and a realistic, narrative one. Blue Moon of Kentucky uses the state as a backdrop for a feeling. The blue moon is the central image. Kentucky Rain uses the state as the setting for a story. The rain is the central image. The first is a static portrait of sadness. The second is a dynamic story of desperation. In the first song, the singer is looking up at the sky, lost in his thoughts. In the second, he is looking down at the road, driven by his mission. The Kentucky of Bill Monroe is a place for solitary reflection. The Kentucky of Eddie Rabbitt is a place for a frantic, lonely journey. Elvis, by recording both, becomes the bridge between these two worlds. He connects the old foundational Kentucky of American music with a newer, more cinematic and narrative version of the same place. Number 9, Our Good Rockin' Tonight, and A Little Less Conversation, The Same Invitation. Roy Brown wrote and recorded Good Rockin' Tonight in 1947. His version was a jump blues hit. Elvis recorded his high-energy rockabilly version in 1954 for Sun Records. It was one of his earliest and most influential recordings, featuring a raw vocal performance and Scotty Moore's signature guitar style. The lyrics, with their news bulletin style, were a call to arms for the burgeoning rock and roll movement. A Little Less Conversation was written by Mac Davis and Billy Strange for the 1968 Elvis film, Live a Little, Love a Little. The original movie version is a fun but relatively slight track. Elvis re-recorded it for his '68 comeback special, but it wasn't used. That faster, funkier version from 1968 is the one that was later remixed by Dutch DJ Junkie the 40th in 2002, becoming a global #1 hit and introducing Elvis to a new generation. Both of these songs are invitations. They are commands to stop talking and start doing. They are about action over words, but they are delivered with a completely different attitude, reflecting a shift in culture and in Elvis himself. Good Rockin' Tonight, from the dawn of rock and roll, is a joyful announcement. It's a public service broadcast for a good time. Have you heard the news? There's good rockin' tonight. The singer is a town crier spreading the word. He's inviting everyone to join the party. I'm gonna hold my baby as tight as I can. Tonight she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. The invitation is open, enthusiastic, and communal. It's about gathering together to experience this new, exciting thing called rock and roll. The energy is one of pure, unadulterated excitement. It's the beginning of the party, and everyone is welcome. A Little Less Conversation, particularly the 1968 version, is not a public invitation. It's a private, one-on-one demand. The party has already started, and the singer is getting impatient. A little less conversation, a little more action, please. All this aggravation ain't satisfaction to me. He's not spreading the news, he's laying down the law to a specific person, presumably a lover who is hesitating. The tone is more forceful, more demanding, and more overtly sexual. The joyful exuberance of the early song has been replaced with a cool, funky insistence. He's not just suggesting a good time, he's tired of waiting for it. Shut your mouth and open up your heart and baby satisfy me. The connection is the evolution of the call to action. In 1954, the action was dancing, rocking, and celebrating a new musical form. The invitation was about joining a movement. In 1968, the action is more personal, more intimate. The demand is for a specific person to stop making excuses and commit. The communal party of Good Rockin' Tonight has become the intense, personal negotiation of a little less conversation. The language has changed too. The earlier song uses folksy, almost wholesome language, Deacon Jones, Elder Brown. The later song is all modern, cool, and frustrated desire, aggravation, satisfactioning. It reflects the shift from the relatively innocent rebellion of the 1950s to the more cynical and direct attitude of the late 1960s. The boy who just wanted everyone to come out and dance has become a man who knows exactly what he wants and is tired of waiting to get it. It's the same basic message, stop talking, start doing, but the context and the urgency have completely transformed. Number 8, do How Great Thou Art and An American Trilogy show two sides of his faith. How Great Thou Art is a hymn based on a Swedish traditional melody and a poem written by Carl Boberg in 1885. It was translated into English by missionary Stuart K. Hine. Elvis first heard the song performed by the Statesman Quartet. He recorded it in 1966, and his powerful rendition won him his first Grammy Award for Best Sacred Performance in 1967. Gospel music was Elvis's first love and remained a constant source of comfort and inspiration throughout his life. An American Trilogy was arranged by country gospel singer Mickey Newbury. It is a medley of 3 19th century songs: Dixie, a minstrel song that became the anthem of the Confederacy, the battle hymn of the Republic, the anthem of the Union Army, and All My Trials, an African-American spiritual. Elvis first heard Newbury perform it in Las Vegas and decided to add it to his own show. His grandiose orchestral version, first performed in 1972, became a signature piece of his live concerts. These two performances reveal the two major channels of Elvis's spirituality, his personal, direct faith in God, and his quasi-religious faith in the idea of America. How Great Thou Art is a pure, unadulterated expression of Christian faith. It is a song of worship. The lyrics are a direct address to God, expressing awe at the power of his creation. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made. The performance is earnest and deeply sincere. When Elvis sings it, he is not playing a character. He is testifying. His voice soars with genuine emotion, moving from a quiet reverence in the verses to an explosive declaration of praise in the chorus. This is his private faith made public. It is about the relationship between one man and his creator. The focus is vertical, pointing upward to the heavens. An American Trilogy is a different kind of spiritual expression. It is an attempt to find the sacred within the secular history of his nation. By weaving together these 3 historically charged songs, Elvis is creating a new unified whole. He takes the song of the South, Dixie, and the song of the North, the battle hymn of the Republic, and unites them with a song of black suffering and endurance, All My Trials. It is a hugely ambitious and symbolic act. He is trying to heal the wounds of the Civil War through music. He is creating a sacred narrative for America itself. The performance is not just a concert piece, it's a civic ritual. The orchestral arrangement, the dramatic flute solo, the swelling choir, the military-style drumming, it's all designed to evoke a sense of national grandeur. The focus is horizontal, looking across the landscape of American history and trying to find redemption and unity in its conflicts. All My Trials acts as the spiritual core, suggesting that the nation's suffering can lead to a form of grace. The final, bombastic reprise of the battle hymn of the Republic, with the line, "His truth is marching on," becomes a declaration of faith in the country's ultimate destiny. The connection is that both songs are about finding meaning and salvation, but in different realms. How Great Thou Art finds it in the Christian God. An American trilogy finds it in the American experiment. One is about personal salvation, the other is about national redemption. For Elvis, a deeply patriotic man who was also a man of deep personal faith, these two ideas were not far apart. His gospel music was the voice of his soul. His American trilogy was the voice of his citizenship. Together, they show a man trying to reconcile his love for his God with his love for his country. Number 7 are Marie's The Name, His Latest Flame, and She's Not You, a two-part story. Both songs were written by the legendary songwriting team of Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann. Pomus, who was paralyzed by polio as a child and used crutches or a wheelchair, wrote lyrics that often dealt with themes of heartbreak and betrayal from a deeply personal place. The duo wrote many hits for Elvis, including Viva Las Vegas and Suspicion. The distinctive Bo Diddley-style guitar riff on His Latest Flame was played by session legend Hank Garland. His Latest Flame was recorded in June 1961. She's Not You was recorded in March 1962. They were released less than a year apart. These two songs, written by the same team and recorded in the same era, form a direct narrative sequel. One song ends, and the next one picks up the story right where it left off. It's the story of a man who loses his girl and then fails to find a replacement who can measure up. Part 1 is Marie's The Name, His Latest Flame. The song is an upbeat, almost jaunty tune despite its heartbreaking subject matter. The narrator runs into an old friend who is excited to show him a picture of his new girlfriend. The narrator is shocked to discover that the girl is Marie, his own lost love. A very old friend came by today, 'cause he was telling me that he was going to be married. I said, "Who's the lucky girl?" He answered with a smile, "Her name is Marie." The killer blow comes in the chorus. Her name is Marie, his latest flame. He has to hide his pain and pretend to be happy for his friend. The final verse reveals the depth of the betrayal. Though I smiled. My heart was broken. All I could do was cry. I said congratulations, but it was a lie. The story ends there, with the narrator suffering in silence. Part 2, She's Not You, begins. The narrator has tried to move on. He has a new girlfriend, but the entire song is a comparison, and the new girl comes up short in every way. The song is a direct address to his new partner, but it's really all about the one he lost. Her hair is soft and her eyes are, oh, so blue. She's all the things a girl should be, but she's not you. He goes through a list of her qualities. She kisses him, she holds him, she's true. But every compliment is immediately negated by the final devastating phrase, "But she's not you." The connection is the character of Marie. She is the latest flame in the first song and the you in the second song. The happy friend from the first song has presumably married Marie, and the narrator is now stuck in a new relationship haunted by her memory. The upbeat rock and roll rhythm of His Latest Flame masks the initial shock and pain. The slow, sad ballad of She's Not You reveals the long-term emotional damage. He's trapped, he can't go back to Marie, and he can't fully commit to his new love because the ghost of the old one is always present. Listening to them in order creates a complete, tragic short story. First, the shocking moment of loss and betrayal. Second, the melancholic aftermath of trying and failing to recover. It's a perfect little drama about the one that got away and the impossibility of ever truly replacing them. The man who puts on a brave face for his friend in the first song is the same man who confesses his emotional emptiness to his new girlfriend in the second. Number 6. Do Baby, Let's Play Houses, and One Night Chart His Changing Audacity. Baby, Let's Play House was a 1954 blues song by Arthur Gunter. Elvis's 1955 Sun Records version was his first song to appear on a national Billboard chart. He famously changed one of Gunter's lyrics from "You may have a religion, but don't you be nobody's fool till you may go to college, you may go to school," but don't you be nobody's fool. It was a classic example of him tailoring a song to his own young audience. One Night was originally written by Dave Bartholomew and Pearl King as One Night of Sin. Smiley Lewis had a rhythm and blues hit with it in 1956. The original lyrics were much more explicit. One night of sin is what I'm now paying for. The things I did and I saw would make the earth stand still. Elvis recorded this version in early 1957, but RCA deemed it too risque for release. He was asked to clean it up, and new lyrics were written, changing the theme from paying for a night of sin to longing for one night of love. This is the version that was released and became a huge hit. These two songs show the rapid evolution of Elvis's lyrical boldness and the line he had to walk between being a rebel and a mainstream superstar. Baby, Let's Play House, from his Wild Sundays, is a marvel of suggestion and innuendo. The central metaphor, let's play house, is a childish phrase used for a very adult purpose. You know, it's cheeky, it's playful, but everyone knows what he means. The real kicker is the line he delivers with a defiant, almost feral stutter. I'd rather see you dead, little girl, than to be with another man. It's a shocking, possessive, and dangerous line to hear in a pop song in 1955. It's the sound of raw, untamed, youthful jealousy. The song is sexually charged, but couches it in the language of a game. It's a perfect snapshot of the 1950s rebel pushing the boundaries, but with a wink and a smile. Now, jump to 1957. Elvis is the biggest star in the world. He records One Night. Even in its cleaned-up, released version, the song represents a significant leap in directness. The playful, playing house metaphor is gone. The desire is now stated plainly. One night with you is what I'm now praying for. The things that we two could do, they're worth waiting for. The context has shifted from a playful suggestion to a desperate prayer. The stakes feel higher. This isn't a game anymore. It's a deep, consuming need. But the real story is the unreleased Sin version. That version is a full-throated confession of adult sexuality with none of the coyness of the Sun record. It's about consequences. It's about an experience so intense it has changed his life. This was a step too far for RCA and the mainstream audience of 1957. The fact that he recorded it shows where his instincts were heading. He was moving away from the suggestive language of early rock and roll and toward a more direct adult expression of desire. The connection between the two songs is the journey from innuendo to explicit statement. Baby, Let's Play House is the sound of him testing the limits, seeing what he can get away with. It's provocative but still coded. One Night, especially the forbidden version, is the sound of him wanting to break past those codes and speak plainly about adult relationships and desire. The first song is a proposition, the second is a confession. Together, they show his evolution from a charismatic, rebellious boy to a man grappling with more complex and powerful emotions and the commercial pressures that forced him to soften his edge. Number 5 is Crying in the Chapel, a rejection of the world and suspicion. Crying in the Chapel was written by Artie Glenn for his son Darrell. It was a country hit for Darrell Glenn in 1953 and was covered by many artists. Elvis recorded his version in 1960 during the sessions for his gospel album, His Hand in Mine. However, Colonel Parker and RCA felt the song had pop crossover potential and held it back. They released it as a single 5 years later, in 1965, and it became an international hit, marketed as Elvis's Easter single. Suspicion was written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann, the same team behind his latest Flame. Elvis recorded it in 1962. It was included on the album Potluck. It was not released as a single in the US. A cover version by Terry Stafford, which sounded remarkably like Elvis, became a huge hit in 1964, leading many to believe it was Presley. This reportedly frustrated Elvis greatly. These two songs, recorded in the early 60s, represent two opposing responses to a world of doubt and pain, one of faith, the other of paranoia. They are about the battle between trust and fear. Suspicion is a portrait of a mind consumed by doubt. It's a song set in a domestic space that has become a chamber of torture. The narrator is tormented by the idea that his lover is unfaithful. Every little thing becomes evidence. Every time you kiss me, I'm still not certain that you love me. Every time you hold me, I'm still not certain that you care. The world of the song is small and claustrophobic. It's just him, her, and the poisonous thoughts in his head. He wonders why she closes her eyes when he kisses her, if she's dreaming of someone else. He asks why she's crying, and if it's for another man. The song is a downward spiral of paranoia. The central theme is the impossibility of knowing another person's heart. It's a song about the agony of distrust. Crying in the Chapel offers a complete escape from that world. It describes a spiritual experience that provides absolute certainty and peace. The narrator walks into a chapel and finds solace. You'll search and you'll search, but you'll never find, no way on earth, peace of mind. The peace of mind that is completely absent in suspicion is the very thing he finds in the chapel. He discovers that his troubles and worries are lessened in size. He can walk with a smile. The key difference is the source of truth. In Suspicion, the narrator is desperately trying to find truth in the actions of another flawed human being, and it's driving him crazy. In Crying in the Chapel, he finds truth by surrendering to a higher power. I've been blessed, and I know I'm happy now, and I'm free. The freedom he finds is freedom from the very kind of torment described in Suspicion. The chapel is a sanctuary from the poisonous doubts of the secular world. The connection is that they are two sides of the same coin. Suspicion is the problem. Crying in the Chapel is the solution. One song describes a world where human relationships are a source of constant anxiety and doubt. The other describes a place where faith provides a source of unwavering comfort and certainty. The first is about being trapped inside your own head with your fears. The second is about releasing those fears to a divine power. Listening to them together presents a powerful choice: live in a state of perpetual doubt about others, or find peace by placing your trust in something larger than yourself. Number 4, Does All Shook Up describe the sickness cured by Moody Blue? All Shook Up was written primarily by Otis Blackwell, a prolific songwriter who also wrote Don't Be Cruel and Return to Sender. Elvis received a co-writing credit, a common practice at the time to ensure he received a share of the publishing royalties. The story goes that Elvis suggested the title phrase, saying he was all shook up after a vivid dream. The song was a massive #1 hit in 1957. Moody Blue was written by Mark James, the same writer who penned Suspicious Minds. It was recorded in 1976 in the Jungle Room, the den of Elvis's Graceland mansion that had been converted into a temporary recording studio. It was one of the last songs he recorded in a studio setting. The song was released in late 1976 and was climbing the charts in the summer of 1977. After his death in August, it hit #1 on the Billboard Country chart. These two songs, from the beginning and the end of his superstar career, are both about the powerful, confusing physical effects of love. But one is from the perspective of the person feeling it, and the other is from the perspective of the person observing it. All Shook Up is a first-person report of a physiological event. It's a diagnosis of love sickness. The narrator describes his symptoms with a kind of bewildered excitement. My hands are shaky and my knees are weak. I can't seem to stand on my own 2 feet. He feels a chilling fever and his tongue gets tied. The cause of this ailment is a woman's touch, her kiss. The feeling is overwhelming, confusing, but ultimately wonderful. He's in love, and he's happy as a bug in a rug. The song is a celebration of losing control, of the body being taken over by a powerful new emotion. The feeling is internal. He is the one who is all shook up. Moody Blue flips the perspective. Now, the singer is the one observing this unpredictable, confusing behavior in his partner. She is the one with the mysterious condition. The song is a list of her contradictory symptoms. She's a queen, then a clown. She's sunshine, then pouring rain. She's a warm summer day, than a cold winter's night. He uses a series of metaphors to try and describe her ever-changing nature. The central theme is her unpredictability. He can't figure her out, and the name he gives her condition is Moody Blue. The connection is that the woman described in Moody Blue is exhibiting the very symptoms the singer in All Shook Up was celebrating in himself. The unpredictable fervor and chills of new love in the first song have become the hot and cold personality of the woman in the second. The man who was once all shook up is now trying to deal with a partner who is perpetually shook up. In All Shook Up, the loss of control is a thrilling personal experience. In Moody Blue, that same loss of control in another person is a source of confusion and frustration. Tell me, what's a man to do? He sings, exasperated. The song isn't a celebration, it's a bewildered analysis. It's the difference between experiencing a storm from the inside and trying to describe it from the outside. The young man who embraced the chaos of new love has become an older man, trying to make sense of a chaotic partner. It's a journey from feeling the symptom to trying to name the disease. Number 3 is Treat Me Nice, the impatient sequel to Don't Be Cruel. Both songs were written by different but equally legendary songwriters. Don't Be Cruel was an Otis Blackwell composition which Elvis famously reworked in the studio, slowing it down and adding a distinctive vocal hiccup. It became one of the best-selling singles in history. Treat Me Nice was written by the powerhouse duo of Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller for the film Jailhouse Rock. They were responsible for many of Elvis's most iconic 50s hits. Don't Be Cruel was recorded in July 1956. Treat Me Nice was recorded in April 1957. They are sister songs, born from the same creative period. These two songs are essentially the same request, delivered with a subtle but important shift in tone and power. They are a 1-2 punch in a romantic negotiation. Don't Be Cruel is the opening offer. It's smooth, confident, and almost playful. The singer is laying out his case. I can be found sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. He's presenting himself as vulnerable, but he's in control. The music is a cool, mid-tempo shuffle. It's seductive. He's not demanding, he's persuading. He's offering a deal. If you give me your love, I won't be lonely anymore. The central phrase, don't be cruel to a heart that's true, is a moral appeal. It's an appeal to her sense of fairness. It's a confident, charming negotiation. Treat me nice is what happens when the charm doesn't work, and patience starts to run out. The request is the same, but the tone has hardened. The smooth shuffle has been replaced by a more driving rock and roll beat. The vocal is tougher, less pleading, and more insistent. When I walk through that door, baby, be polite. You're gonna make me sore if you don't greet me right. The language is no longer about his lonely heart. It's a direct instruction. It's a command. The lyrics lay out a list of demands. Gonna be a whole lot of hugging and a kissing and a squeezing. He's not just asking her not to be cruel anymore. He is telling her exactly what he expects. The most telling line is the threat, if you're gonna be my baby, you gotta treat me nice. It's an ultimatum. The negotiation is over. This is now a statement of terms and conditions. The power dynamic has shifted. The man who was sitting by the phone in the first song is now the man walking through the door, expecting to be greeted a certain way. The connection is the progression of the argument. Don't be cruel is the carrot. It's the gentle persuasion, the appeal to kindness. Treat me nice is the stick. It's the firm demand, the laying down of the law. It's the same character, the same relationship, but at a later, more contentious stage. The first song is asking for love. The second song is demanding respect. He tried being the vulnerable lover. Now he's asserting his authority. Together, they form a fascinating look at the shifting tactics of romance, moving from sweet talk to a straight-up demand. Number 2, does the outsider in trying to get to you become the stranger in my own hometown? Trying to Get to You was written by Rosemarie McCoy and Charles Singleton and first recorded by the R&B group The Eagles in 1954. Elvis recorded his version in 1955 at Sun Studio. It was one of his final Sun recordings and is celebrated for its passionate, raw vocal performance. It's a song of epic determination, a classic Journey song. Stranger in My Own Hometown was written by Percy Mayfield. Elvis recorded it during the 1969 American Sound Studio sessions in Memphis. The song is a swampy blues rock number with a dark, cynical edge. It was a deep cut, but it's a favorite among dedicated fans for its gritty performance and world-weary lyrics. Elvis is back in Memphis, the city that made him, but he's singing about feeling completely disconnected from it. These two songs, recorded 14 years apart, tell the story of a journey and its ironic, disillusioning end. One is about the desperate struggle to arrive. The other is about the emptiness of having arrived and finding it's not what you expected. Trying to Get to You is the sound of pure, focused desire. The singer is on a quest to be reunited with his love. The journey is arduous and filled with obstacles. I've been traveling over mountains, even through the valleys too. I've been traveling night and day. I've been running all the way, baby, trying to get to you. The lyrics are a testament to his willpower. Nothing will stop him. If he's in the desert, he'll be like a camel. If he's in the sea, he'll grow fins. His destination, you, is a paradise, a place of belonging and love. The song is the anthem of the outsider fighting to get in. His vocal is straining, full of raw passion. It's a song of pure, uncomplicated hope. Stranger in My Own Hometown is the bitter punchline. The journey is over. He's back. He has returned to the place where he should belong most, his hometown, but the feeling is not one of triumph or belonging. It's one of complete alienation. I walked the streets of this old town where I was born. I see a million faces, but I'm still all alone. The paradise he was trying to reach has become a cold, unfamiliar place. The very people he should know now look right through him. He is an outsider in the one place he should be an insider. The connection is the tragic irony. The man who would cross mountains and deserts in the first song has reached his destination only to find it emotionally barren. The home he was fighting to get to in his youth has become a place where he is a stranger. This mirrors Elvis's own life. He was the boy from Memphis who conquered the world, but when he returned, he was no longer just a local kid. He was a global icon, isolated by his own fame. He couldn't just walk the streets of his old town anymore. He was, in a very real sense, a stranger in his own home. The hope of the first song has been replaced by the cynicism of the second. The passionate cry of, "I'm trying to get to you," becomes the weary observation, "They don't know me from Adam." It's the story of every person who dreams of going home, but discovers that the home they remember no longer exists, and they no longer fit in it. The journey out was full of purpose. The arrival back is full of emptiness. Number 1, our Can't Help Falling in Love and Always on My Mind, the Same Love Story. Can't Help Falling in Love was written by Hugo Peretti, Luigi Creatore, and George David Weiss. The melody is based on Plaisir d'amour, a French love song composed in 1784. It was featured in the 1961 film Blue Hawaii. Elvis famously ended most of his live concerts in the 1970s with this song. It became one of his most beloved and enduring ballads. Always on My Mind was written by Johnny Christopher, Mark James, and Wayne Carson. Brenda Lee recorded it first in 1972, and Willie Nelson had a massive Grammy-winning hit with it a decade later. Elvis recorded his version in March 1972, just a few weeks after his separation from his wife Priscilla. The timing of the recording has led many to interpret it as a direct message to her. These two songs are the definitive bookends of a great tragic love affair. One is the beginning, the other is the end. They are two sides of the same heart. Can't Help Falling in Love describes the gentle, inevitable start of a deep love. The lyrics are a beautiful expression of surrender. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. The singer acknowledges the risk, the potential for foolishness, but he is powerless to stop the feeling. It's not a choice, it's a force of nature. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling. So it goes, some things are meant to be. The song is a vow. Take my hand, take my whole life too. It's a promise of total commitment, made at the moment when love feels simple, pure, and destined. It's a song of quiet, confident beginnings. Always, on my mind, is the painful look back after that promise has been broken. It is a song of regret, an apology for the failures that occurred between the beginning and the end. It is sung by the same man to the same woman, but from a place of loss. The lyrics are a list of his shortcomings as a partner. Maybe I didn't treat you quite as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have. He admits his neglect. Little things I should have said and done, I just never took the time. The connection is that the man singing, Always on My Mind, is the same man who once promised his whole life. The beautiful, simple destiny described in the first song became a complicated reality that he failed to navigate. He didn't live up to the promise he made. The song is not an excuse, it's a confession, and the chorus is his heartbreaking defense. Despite all his failures, the love was always real. You were always on my mind. Can't help falling in love is the thesis statement of the relationship. Always on my mind is the painful postmortem. One is about the feeling of love, the other is about the work of love, and his failure to do that work. The first song is sung with the gentle confidence of a man who believes love is all that matters. The second is sung with the deep, painful regret of a man who has learned that love is not always enough. Together, they tell the most human story of all: a perfect beginning, a flawed middle, and a regretful end. They are the same love seen through the opposite ends of a telescope,